Hey guys, this is Hanshaw. Appreciate y'all tuning into my show today. Excuse me. Let me get a little bit more comfortable here. I'm out here running some errands and taking care of a little bit of business. It's a rainy day here in Kentucky, and thought I'd pull over here and let the rain slack off a little bit and make this video. I want to entitle this, I saw my best friend today in the nursing home. And you're going to know who it is. I'm going to tell you here in a minute who it is. My best friend I've known all of my life. Literally all of my life. She's my mother. Now she's in a nursing home the last 5 years. Now, because of COVID, we only get to do occasional window visits with her, like they do in penitentiaries. We talk with her through a phone. We can't touch her. The minutes are only 30 minutes long. My brother and I got to see her one day last week, and my mom's 80 years old now, and my mom and I, we've always had this very tight, special relationship, this tight bond. I was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14 years old. My mother was my rock that I leaned on during those early years of my disability. You know, thinking back on all that, it's mind-boggling what it does to a young, healthy teenage boy to go from playing sports, basketball, football, riding bicycles, swimming, hiking, all of that, being a normal, healthy young young man, and then to go into a left leg brace. It does something to your mind and your emotions. It changes your entire life. 36 years later, here I sit. Many muscles in my body are deteriorated and gone, or are leaving. It's one of the slowest deaths you'll ever see. One of my doctors used to call it a slow cancer, because you slowly watch your body evaporate and vanish as your muscles go away. They atrophy, they deteriorate. And today my shoulder is hurting because of the lack of the muscling that holds all that together. Hip, same way. My mother has always been my rock that I could go to. My dad was not so much there. My dad was a very proud, arrogant, strong physically strong man. He never ever come to terms with two out of the three of his sons, me and my older brother, having the muscular dystrophy. Thank God my younger brother doesn't have it. Thank God. My dad never come to grips with that. So my mom was my rock through it all. Through the disability, through all the falls. I used to fall a lot when I used to walk. I've not walked in over 10 years now. I can't stand up. And through all the divorces and the failed marriages and the failed relationships, my mother always was there for me. I remember a young boy in school, second grade. My mom would help me write little plays, little skits, and I'd go to school, and the teacher would let me and some of my little buddies act those out for the class. And I remember fourth grade, my teacher asked us to build a Fort Moonsville replica. So my mom, I went home. My mom is an absolute skilled artist. Skilled artist. She's an artist. She did all these crafts and decorations and interior designing and all. She knew how to do it. Went home. She got a huge, big old piece of square styrofoam somewhere. We went to the hobby store, got a bunch of popsicle sticks and black sewing thread and glue, food coloring, and we got little bitty trees and little bitty houses at that little hobby shop, little bitty men and women. Within a week, me and my mom made Fort Moonsville look good. I got an A on that. It was so good, the teacher kept it. She put it up front behind a glass case where all the school awards were and trophies and all of that. I never saw it after that year. They kept it. It looked sharp. I'm trying not to break down here, guys. Y'all bear with me. My mom, I talk to her every day, all of my life, until the last couple of years. Last year, I was thrown into a nursing home because the last woman that I was with, her and her new boyfriend kicked me out of the home, and I got thrown into a nursing home, and that prevented me from calling my mother every day like I had been accustomed to. I only saw her 2 or 3 times last year because I was in the nursing home and they wouldn't let me leave. They took my car keys. They wouldn't set me up on public transportation till the very end, till right before I was ready to get discharged, a couple of months before. Anyway, and then this year with COVID, I've not been able to hug my mom since March. And I'm no longer able to talk to her every day because she forgets to hang up the phone right. And my mom sleeps a lot now. She looks tired. But I know that age has caught up with her, as it does all of us. But I tell you what, no person on this earth ever had a better mother than I have. And I hope that you have a fantastic mom. But no matter how great your mom is, she cannot outdo mine. My mother was an absolutely excellent cook. A cleaner. She cleaned the house every day. You could eat off the woman's floors. When I was younger, like I said, just a perfect mom. Perfect mother. Always there nurturing, helping, giving advice, singing. I don't hardly remember a day when my mom wouldn't sing. A little rough, guys. A little rough here making this. She would cook and sing. She would wash dishes and sing. She'd do laundry and sing. Then she'd get on the piano and play the piano and sing and all that. Now, before I end this video, because it's almost too hard to make, my mother was raised hard. Her family was very poor growing up. There was 15 or 16 of them children in the family. My mom was the oldest daughter. She was raised hard. She had to help raise a lot of her brothers and sisters. I guess that's why they love her. One reason why they love her so much. And then my dad was really rough on my mom. When I was younger especially. He would drink, get drunk, beat my mother, beat me and my 2 brothers, beat his own mother, shoot at us with guns. I've written books on all this. You can read about that in my books. that all gave me PTSD. The horrific, horrendous abuse that we endured as when he was drunk. But you know what? Through it all, that lady I called my mother stayed strong as hell. She is the strongest woman, mentally, emotionally, physically, that I've ever met in my life. When she was 21, I think, 21, 1961, she was on a outing with some of her friends. They were just cruising in a car. They were all in the front seat. They were going down the road around midnight. The driver, I guess his lights went out or something. They were going by one of these cliffs in Oliveville, Kentucky, over there on US 60. One of the big boulders had fallen into the highway. They hit it head on, and I talked to the police officer that worked the wreck. Years later, I met him, and he estimated they were going probably 60 miles an hour. My mom was right in the middle of the seat. It threw her through the window. The mirror caught her eye, tore her eye out of socket. She was in a coma for weeks. My dad just happened to get furloughed out of the Navy that very day that she had the wreck. He got in, and they were engaged to be married anyway. He went straight to the hospital. See, this is the good side of my dad. He had the potential to be a good man, and he was a good man in a lot of ways. Like this. He went straight to the hospital that night. And you got to understand, this is 1961. They didn't have all the equipment and the technology and all that they have today to work with trauma victims. So the doctor said she's probably going to die. But if you want to pack her head in ice to cause the swelling to go down on the brain, she might live. And my dad did that. They said he stayed there for 9 weeks. He never went home. He slept there, he showered there, he ate there. He lived there for 9 weeks. They tried to run him off. And for those of you that know my dad, he wasn't the type he ran off anywhere. I get that after him. So my mom lived. They said, well, you'll never have a child because her arms were broke, her pelvis was broke, her eye was out on her cheek. They put her eye back in. She can still see out of that eye. And pieces of glass will fall out. I've seen it every now and then out of her eye socket. They said, you'll never have a child. My mom had 4 children. And thank God. Thank the gods of this world that she lived. because I would have never got to meet the greatest woman I know. And she's my best friend, you know. I miss talking to her on the phone. I don't know how to deal with that. I'll call her every day, but most days it just rings and rings and rings. And I'll call down to the nursing home she's in and ask them if they can go make sure her phone's on the hook. And some of them will, most of them won't. So here we are, and I'm just trying to get through this. Maybe some of you all have already been through this. I talked to my counselor about this. I go to counseling for my PTSD and all that I go through, my chronic daily pain. And he just has to make these videos and, you know, talk to in my support network. So I'm just putting this on YouTube. Maybe you've been through this. How did you do it? Because I'll be quite honest with you. This has been one of the hardest things I've ever had to deal with. Not being able to talk to my mom at least once a day. It's very difficult. So anyway, appreciate you all listening in on this one. This is more of a real personal one. And about my best friend, my mother. As you can tell, I love her. I always will. So fortunate to have her as my mom. And I miss her bad. But she raised me right. She raised me to treat people right. She raised me up to look at things through a positive set of lenses. She raised me to help people, to get my mind off of myself and my own problems and onto other people and their problems. I'm the man I am today because of my mother, mostly. And that's why I've never hit a woman. I've never abused a woman. I look at women through the eyes of my mom. And my mom taught me to look at women not as sex objects, but as human beings. And I know that's odd and strange and peculiar to most men today, but I'm not going to change. I'm going to be the same man I always have been. I'll probably die alone for it, because it seems a lot of women today want a jacked up man that will be mean to them or whatever. And I'm not about all that. So anyway, I'm going to sign out. It's a real hard video for me to make. If y'all like this channel, hit that subscribe button. Y'all take it easy. Bye.